Sorry about that. I hit the button for live right about the time one of my sons shot my other son in the culo, and we couldn't find the bullet for a second. We thought maybe we had to go in after it. So my kids are back, and sorry, I'm fiddling with my seat here, trying to get it straightened out. My blanket's falling. Yeah, here on a Saturday night, just thought I'd come on. Just went for a nice bicycle ride. The normal quiet that you're used to over the last 3 weeks or so is now gone because the kids are back in the house, but it's all good. It's all good. I don't have a show planned, but I just have been busy today. We picked up the kids and then got a carpet cleaner, cleaned the carpets in the house, and did some other shenanigans. Went to the rental car place because my son left his phone in the car and we didn't find it. And a whole bunch of other stuff. But what I really want to come out and talk about is that these next couple shows, and I want to come on and just say that they're going to be pretty strong. And I'm going to do my very best not to worry everybody, because I don't want to be one of those guys. You know, I remember growing up, and even, you know, gosh, 10, 20 years ago or so, it was very popular to see some of the people on talking about that they were digging bunkers in their backyard and having, you know, 6 months to a year of food. And I forget what they call those people. Somebody might know that's watching what you call the people that were like doomsday. Is that what it's called? Doomsday people or something like that. And I don't want to sound like that, but I just feel like I have to begin to start preparing people, because it's going to get bad. And I know that sounds like I'm trying to scare you. But if you did not see what happened after the Republican National Convention, after the White House, the Thursday after Donald Trump spoke, and if you did not see the mass of Democrats that were waiting outside to completely destroy the positivity, whether you liked it or not. Did you see any Republicans going over the DNC and going into you know, wherever they were doing their Zoom call from for the DNC? Did you see anybody going in there and disrupting what was going on there? No, that's not how we are. Doomsday preppers. That's it. Doomsday. I knew Doomsday was in there somewhere. But did you see any of that of people? I don't know, like banging drums outside of Biden's basement. Did you? None of that happened. That's just not what we do, right? Bright, intelligent, proud Americans don't do that to the Democrats, right? Americans don't do that to the Democrats, but Democrats have no problem standing outside the gates of the White House and yelling and screaming, flipping off people that are in their 80s as they're trying to leave, screaming in their face, calling them the B word and the C word and the T word. It's a good thing my kids are here tonight, because I would be going off tonight. I mean, they're sitting like here listening to me right now or watching me right now. And it is just absurd that I've never seen anything like it. And they don't care. The media doesn't care. Recently, they started saying, well, you know, this probably isn't good for polls. It's not good for polls. It's not good for the election. See, that's the difference between Republicans and Democrats in another way, too. We care about how it's affecting people, how it's affecting business owners, how it's affecting citizens, how it's affecting moms and sons and daughters, how it's affecting people. Democrats only care how it's affecting polls, right? Whether or not somebody's going to get elected. And that's the difference. And that's why I feel like I've been given this platform for whatever reason to be able to speak to people, whether it's 5 people or 100 people. I saw my video that I did yesterday or day before yesterday. Right now, I think we're at 1,500 just on Facebook, a few thousand, I think, on the YouTubes and the Twitters. And so I know it's reaching people, and I know people are listening and paying attention. And I got a couple of comments. One of the best comments I got out of all the comments, one of my favorite comments was that I had my sign up over here, the sign that says Jesus is my savior and Trump is my president. They mentioned, you know, normally I don't listen to somebody that has a Trump sign, or somebody, you know, a Trump hat or a Trump shirt or whatever. I have all that right now. No, this is and she said, normally I would not listen to somebody that has anything related to Trump on, but you're making a lot of sense. Oh, I actually should take a screenshot of that comment. That is, I live for the people that message me that say, hey, you know what? I've been a long time Democrat. And after listening to you for a few times and really looking into some of the things you're talking about, I've decided that I'm going to vote for Trump. Those are my favorite. Those are private messages, and I don't want to share those. But when somebody comments on a live show that says, normally I don't listen to somebody that has a Trump anything, right? But you're making a lot of sense, and I really appreciate what you're saying today. That was the best comment that I've seen. So whether, again, I don't care if it's 1, 2, 5. If I'm reaching somebody that's going to be prepared for what's going to be coming, then I've done my job. My job is to tell you the truth. And I've been right. I hate to tell you. I tell my kids and they look at me, Dad, you're not always right. I've been right on every bit of what I've been sharing with you. One of the reasons I'm right is not because I'm smart or because I'm anything special. It's because I do research before I come on. I pay attention to what's going on. I follow up. You notice I don't often comment about something until 2 or 3 days after it occurred. Why? Because that's what you're supposed to do. You have these people that get on, like Biden, the night after a shooting, gets on and makes a statement that the shooting in Wisconsin was, oh man, I have it on here. I always forget, and I should remember, but he makes so many stupid statements. I can't keep them all straight. He says, this morning, the nation wakes up yet again in grief and outrage that yet another Black American is a victim of this excessive force. That was not excessive force. And so you can't come on as president, as a governor, as a mayor, and still today, media is trying to get Trump to, can you comment on X? Can you comment on Z? The two different shootings that have been in Wisconsin, the ones that started the riots and the one that happened afterwards, where the kid, the 17-year-old was out there and shot 2 people and killed them. And they're asking him to comment. He's doing the right thing. He's doing the presidential thing. And he's going, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Why make a comment about something where the investigation hasn't been done yet, where he hasn't received the information? That's what a president does. And here they are bad mouthing him, saying, I can't believe he's not saying something. Well, you don't say something stupid like Biden did, where he said it with hours after it occurred. That obviously is excessive force. It is not. I am telling you right now, I am right. How am I right? For those of you that have not seen me before or don't know who I am. And again, I'm sorry for the people that watch this and you get tired of me telling people this, but I have to, because I'm talking about something where I think my background and what I do is relevant to people that don't know who I am. So 21 years law enforcement. I've been teaching and training law enforcement for over 30 years. I investigate police officers that have done wrong, and I investigate what police officers have done right. And that's what I've done for the last 20 years. I testified into the easily hundreds of criminal cases, mostly federal cases, and many of them state cases, and investigated officers to find out if they did something right or wrong. And I know the procedures. I know what it means to have use reasonable force. I know what it means to take all aspects into consideration. What was going on previously for the cop to make a decision, what happened after the cop made that decision, and looking at everything as a whole. And that's everything that needs to be done. Including looking at video. If there's no video, then getting witness statements. There's a lot that has to be done before you get on the TV as a nominee for the president of the United States and get on and say something as stupid as Biden did. That's how we know how moronic he is. He's moronic in 2 ways, because we know he didn't write that, right? Somebody else did. So the moron who wrote it is one aspect of this, and that he didn't say, hey, I can't say that I'm a nominee for the president of the United States. It is not right for me to comment on something where all the information isn't in yet, where the investigation hasn't even really taken place yet. And he should have been the person who said, hey, as nominee for president of the United States, that's that statement. And I know that I know that what you want to do here, you want us to be able to show chaos in Trump's United States. Right? They want to show chaos. They want to show that cops are out of control. They want to cause chaos, where by making statements, it's going to cause people to have an uproar. It's going to cause the media to say, look at even Biden says that this is excessive. And yet Trump is saying nothing. Right? Do you see it? We've seen it, right? That is what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, look at Biden made an immediate comment, which is wrong, which caused an uproar, which added fuel to the fire, which quite possibly caused more people to be hurt and injured and businesses to be looted and burned down, right? That statement alone can cause a number of things to happen, where Trump doing the right thing by saying, I don't have all the information. I can't tell you. You don't want me to comment as president of the United States until I have all their information. And so coming back to the original reason I wanted to come on here is that you see them do this on a day-to-day basis. You see them not caring and thinking, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. You heard the media. If you pay attention to the media, some of you aren't, but I did. I heard the media saying, oh, there was nothing happening outside the White House after the conference, after the convention. Sorry, conference. The convention. No, it was. They were just yelling. And Rand Paul, nothing was going to happen to him and his wife. It's okay, even though they were calling her the B word and C word and T word and all the other words that that you can imagine somebody being called, screaming in their face, pushing the cop up against them, knocking the cop down, where Rand Paul had to grab the cop to keep him from falling, that they were surrounded by 30 people. That's nothing. No. And they were threatening to kill him. That's nothing. No. You had Dan Bongino, the same thing for an hour as he was trying to walk to his hotel, him and his wife being accosted by people, threatened, called every name in the book, saying horrible things. My kids are sitting here looking at me because I want to say what he said. If you haven't heard what happened to Dan Bongino on the way out, Dan Bongino is a former New York policeman, Secret Service. He does a podcast. He's often on, he used to be on CNN, but now he's on Fox. Him and his wife were leaving the convention, and they were to accost for an hour. And he was surrounded by Border Patrol agents that were trying to keep him and his wife safe. And that's not all, right? You had the Vernon, I forget his first name. He's a congressman, I believe. Sorry, I don't know exactly what he is, but he's a Democrat. And he was being attacked. Black guy being attacked by Black Lives Matter, being called Uncle Tom and all the other names that you can call somebody, horribly attacked verbally. And so with that in mind, this is not going to go away. This is going to get worse, and you need to be prepared. And I just feel like right now with having an audience that's actually listening and paying attention, that I have to tell you, 30 years in law enforcement and seeing the things that I'm seeing, I've not seen anything like this before. Even the Rodney King riots, for me right now, appear to be maybe on par, because it was pretty bad for only a week. It's been like it was for Rodney King in Portland for 80 days. I think lately it's been kind of quiet, but for a good 70 days, it was only like that in a riot in Los Angeles for a week or two, something like that. I forget how long I was out there, but I was out there for about a week, living on the floor in fire departments while the rioting and the Molotov cocktails and people getting shot and killed was going on. That was only about a week and a half, 2 weeks that I was out there. Seattle, Portland, New York, Minneapolis, Wisconsin. I can never Kenosha. I can never remember the name of that city. I should remember it. I've listened to enough reports on it. But this has been going on and on and on and on and on. And it definitely is not going to get better. The next stage that I'm really concerned about is what's going to happen on either way. What's going to happen if Biden wins? Because a lot of guns have been sold in the last several months. Just in California, thousands and thousands of guns have been sold on a daily basis here in California. And I'm not kidding. It took longer. The 2 guns that I bought just a month ago took much longer for me to get because of the demand for guns. The shelves were bare, as the same as our PPE when Donald Trump needed it for the COVID-19. The cupboards were bare. the cupboards were bare of guns and ammo. People are having to wait for ammo, and the ammo that they need for guns is not available. The guns that people want are not available, and they're having to wait. And that's because thousands of guns are being sold on a daily basis here in California alone. And so there's a little bit of a concern I have if Biden wins. Because it's not going to be pretty. He's going to raise taxes. He's going to try to dismantle the police. He's going to open the borders. He's going to have more sanctuary cities, and it's going to get ugly, because that is not going to be a recipe for peace in our country. It is going to be a disaster, and that is not hyperbolic. I'm not trying to throw any fuel on the fire, because that's what they've said that they're going to do. Bernie and AOC and Kamala are going to be the people that are taking over this country, not Biden. And so you can say whatever you want. Well, Biden in the past, Biden of the past is not Biden now. Biden of the past was just as stupid as he is now. Right now, he's just added dementia to his stupidity. And so it's going to be a very difficult situation if Biden's elected. Now, if Trump's elected, it's going to be bad. Because they're going to be crazy. They're going to go crazy. You thought they had Trump TDS, Trump, what am I, shoot, I've written it like I can't tell you how many times on post. Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome is going to be over the top. They are going to, Nancy Pelosi right now has lost her mind, right? Just like she tried to start this whole hoax with Donald Trump stealing all the mailboxes, right? You saw all that. He's, like, what else could they come up with? What other ridiculous, what else is in their book? I think they're looking through their book and they go, we've tried everything. We tried to impeach him. We tried the Russian thing. We paid for a dossier. We paid for foreigners to try to overturn our election. We've tried all that. And then we tried to blame Trump for that. But yet they caught us that we're the ones who actually did that. So we tried that. We tried to impeach him for the Ukraine. We tried that, but he released the transcripts. Gosh darn it, he wasn't supposed to do that. We tried the porn star thing. That didn't work. We're running out of. We tried racist. We tried calling him a racist, but he keeps doing more for black people than any other president we've ever had since Abraham Lincoln. That's not working. Shoot, we try to make fun of him for holding the Bible upside down for a photo op in front of the church that the Democrats tried to burn down. That didn't work. That didn't stick. We tried to say that he's shooting tear gas bombs and hurting peaceful protesters, but those peaceful protesters keep burning down buildings, and so it's hard for us to say they're peaceful when they're throwing things at cops and hitting them with bricks and knocking them to the ground, and we can't control the mob that we created. The Antifa and the Black Lives Matter, they don't listen to us. We told them to cause chaos, but we didn't tell them to start hurting people and killing people. We didn't anticipate all that to happen, and now we can't. Now we don't know what to do with them. Now you have the media saying, you know what? It's starting to hurt the polls. They're going a little crazy. Maybe we paid them too much money and bust in too many of them into Washington, D.C. that night. They're paid people, and they are bust in. They're not from Washington, D.C., right? They're paid and they're bust in to do and to create chaos in these communities. And it's also only happening in Democratic run cities. Lastly, how much longer can they say and blame Trump for the chaos, right? You've heard him say this. You heard him say that, look at how out of control our world is and how dangerous it is in Trump's United States. You want to elect a president who causes this much chaos. But then you look and say, well, it's all in Democratic run communities and they're not allowed. Trump says, hey, let me come in there and help with some of our support. We can bring in the ATF and the DEA and the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, and we can bring in the National Guard, and we can help with this chaos. And they say, no, we don't want you to stop this chaos, but we're going to blame you for the chaos. Right? That's like throwing crap on somebody and blaming them for smelling like dog crap. Well, no, you threw the dog crap out. How can you blame me for smelling like crap? Right? So they cause the chaos, they create the chaos, and then the guy who says, hey, can I come in there and help you stop it and support your law enforcement? And they say, no, but you're to blame for the chaos. You're the one who's causing our buildings to be burnt down. You're the ones who are causing these people to be shot in our communities. But I'm trying to help you, and you keep telling me no. And so this is our world, right? These are how crazy and the Democrats really believe, and there are some very stupid Democratic voters. So I'm going to go ahead and go on the record to tell you that it's unfortunate because I see them on Twitter, I see them in my comments, I see them in my private messages I get. There are some pretty stupid people that are in the Democratic Party that are voters that don't look at all this and go, this is starting not to make sense. He keeps saying he's going to send troops and help us stop the lootings, help stop the rioting. But yet our mayor and governor keep telling him no, but yet they keep blaming him for the thing that he's trying to stop. That doesn't sound right? It's like the NBA saying, we're the best thing. I wish the NBA would actually boycott all their games. Like the players walk off and boycott, and I go, wow, that is really, yes, keep doing that. Keep walking off and not playing your games. Exactly. Who's watching anyway? And then they go, wait a minute, if we don't play, this doesn't make any sense. That we are the ones boycotting, and now we're going to begin losing money. And the company called the NBA is going to begin losing money, and they're not going to be able to pay me. And by the way, we're going to kneel for the American flag, and we hate America, but we love China. So we're actually going to support China, but we hate America because it's racist. But we love China, the same country who has enslaved millions of Uyghurs and murder them and torture them today, not back in the 1800s, not back in the 1700s, where we abolished slavery, like 1865 or something like that, right? I put on one of my posts. And then over time, we actually, the Black community began to be able to vote. They began to become very important people in our community and wealthy people. And the first millionaire was a Black woman in our country, right? The first, we've had a number of CEOs that are Black, and Black chiefs of police and senators and congressmen, a Black president and a Black first lady, right? We have all that. And yet we're the racist country, and China is to be loved, who is currently today imprisoning and torturing and killing slaves in China. Yet they're the good guys and we're the bad guys. So at some point, some smart people, some smart Democrats go, all right, this doesn't make any sense. Maybe they're right. Maybe rooting for America and loving America is actually a better way to go. So I see my numbers just really drop down as I started to get on that whole rant, but it doesn't matter. Again, I like watching this go up and down as I bring up different subject matter. But the thing is, I just want to make sure I wanted to come on because it's just been on my mind today as I've been busy doing stuff with the kids and kind of, just doing some stuff with preparing for school and thinking about how crazy, what a lunatic our governor is. He completely shut us down again. Our numbers are going down. So he panicked. Nancy Pelosi, his aunt, told her nephew, Gavin Newsom, that, hey, you need to do something. You can't be open in California. I know the numbers are going down. I know people aren't dying. I know everything's looking a lot better, but you can't open it up, because if you open it up, then California's economy haps the rest of the world, the United States. Right? California's economy is a huge economy. If our economy begins to improve, it's going to act even more positively towards the economy for the United States. So she orders him around and tells him, hey, you got to do something. So he comes up with this brand new coloring book scheme that now we have to be within a certain color. And we have per 100,000, we have 6 infections per 100,000 in California. Is that really a reason to shut down our state? It says that we are, I wish I had it up right now. It says that we are high, like we're the purple color, which was the most dangerous color, at 6 per 100, infections, not deaths. I know people conflate like, oh, infections means people are going to die. No, it just means people have shown up to have COVID. It doesn't mean that they're even sick, right? In some cases, it doesn't even mean that they have it. Because there's been people that have not been tested and they're getting letters in the mail that they have COVID. So they're randomly, kind of like the ballots they're randomly sending out to people, whether they want one or not. They're just saying, you got COVID. Did you know that? We didn't test you, but you have COVID. We need more numbers. So we're going to start saying that more people have COVID. This is really happening. I'm not telling you anything that is not true. This has been happening. I've been told by doctors, by people that they have experienced that they've, somebody had gone in for a test, but didn't have the test because the line was too long or something happened. And yet they got a letter in the mail saying they had COVID-19. So these things are happening. I know that I'll probably get this video pulled off, but here in California, 6 people have been infected per 100,000 lately, which is a very low number. And so Gavin has created this whole new random thing and extended. We were 5 days into our 14 days. So just 2 days ago, they said, if you can stay at a very low level for 14 days where you don't have a rise or a peak, then we'll open up schools, we'll open up gyms, we'll open up a bunch of stuff, right? So we were 5 days into that. 5 days. We only needed, what's the math, kids? 9 more days. They weren't paying attention. We only needed 9 more days and we could have opened up schools. 9 more days and businesses could have begun to open. 9 more days here in California. And in a panic, Nancy Pelosi gets a hold of Gavin Newsom and says, you got to do something, come up with something. So he came up with this really bizarre coloring book type of scheme and now says, okay, for erase the 5 days, we need to now go 21 days. And then after those 21 days, 14 days start. What? What? And why? where does that, where did that come in? What's the explanation for adding the start the new, erase the 5, start new 21, and then 14, hoping that something will happen? Is that what you're doing? That something else might happen? All right. I got that off my chest. I just need to get off my chest. And I love having you guys to listen to me talk about that. Nicole, you have a lot of stuff here. We need to get prepared. Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong one. We need to absolutely, Nicole. There's no doubt in my mind that you need to be prepared. What does that mean? Andy says it means that you need to prepare. You need to have cameras. I have cameras all around the house, at least towards the front. Right, I need to maybe get 1 or 2 more here in the backyard. I have purchased new armaments. Is that the right word? New weapons. I have a new cuchillo that I carry with me everywhere. It's a great knife. It's so sharp. I just want to stay away from that blade. It's a very sharp knife. And it is an amazing, solid, just amazing knife. My friend Bev hooked me up with that knife. And a number of other weapons and preparations. My son and my oldest daughter have gone shooting just to kind of get muscle memory and get some things prepared. And again, I'm not telling you that you have to. I'm just telling you what I think preparedness means, and that is having enough weapons for everybody in the house, teaching them how to operate them properly and use them properly and safely. And whether that's a gun. I had a gun here earlier, but it's gone. And having them handy. And that means that I'll be going to Costco and picking up some more supplies and things like that, and just simply need to be ready for what is about to happen. Because I'm telling you, I live in a very nice, safe city. I live in Brea, and right next to me is Yorba Linda, which are the tagline for Yorba Linda is a land of gracious living. And so it is, and they're very nice communities. And very safe. My kids go and ride their bikes out. They go to 7-Eleven, they go to the store, they go to the market, that kind of stuff. But as things begin to get a little bit hairy, we may need to be looking at some of these things that, hey, Ray, yeah. Can you do me a favor? Can you go in my room on my nightstand where this knife is often? There's a black box, the same length of the knife, a little bit longer than the knife. Can you bring me that black box? Because for whatever reason, I always forget the name of the knife. It is amazing. It is so solid. Once it opens, there's no wiggle, right? There's no wiggle. It's nice and solid, and it closes and it's just a strong knife. I mean, it's been obviously has a clip there, the clip to the belt, and it has a lock on it. So when I have the lock, oops, now the lock's not working. Has a lock on there, so if the button gets pushed, it won't open. And then the lock is very easy to switch on and off and opens right up. So it's very nice, a beautiful knife. It's fantastic. It fits right in my pocket, carried around everywhere I go. Just so you know, along with the other thing that I carry along everywhere I go. All right. So food, preparations, cameras, because if something goes down, if we have any Law and Order, if we do have any, which one? This one, the box. Thank you. It is a ProTech. ProTech is the name, and ProTech is the game. Comes in a nice box, and got a little holder for it. What's that? I said, please don't rhyme like that. Sorry. At ProTech, our mission is to provide you the highest caliber of humankind's oldest tool across our line of professional grade, everyday carry, and investor collector knives. We strive to offer the ultimate in our core values: quality, craftsmanship, and integrity. I was looking to see if it had where they were located, but go to Protect. What? ProTech. Oh yeah, ProTechKnives.com. I don't know. It looked funny in the .com. ProTech.com. ProTech.com. It'll be impossible probably for you to see it down there at the bottom. Yeah, I can't get it to come. Yeah. Anyway, protech.com. Protech.com. Great knives. Great people. Tell them Andy sent you. They'll probably go, who? And so being prepared. Have knives. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you to go out there and hurt people. I don't want to be accused of telling that 17-year-old out there and to go shoot people. That's a whole nother story. These incidents, and I think I'll end on this just to make sure you understand, because there's another thing that's happening, and I probably should have brought this up too, and I will now, because it's another thing that you need to understand, that we have the election, right? We have they're going to go crazy all the way up. The Democrats are going to do their very best to show somehow that Donald Trump's America is in chaos. They're the ones creating the chaos. They're the ones that are trying not to get help for the chaos because they want it to be as heightened as possible. And so they can say, look it's because of him. They're the ones who have been causing chaos since 2016, right? This, right? They've been spying on them. They've been doing all these things, and they've been paying foreign agents to create dossiers, to make claims, and to do things to make it look like Donald Trump is somehow a spy and an enemy to the government, as Nancy Pelosi put it yesterday, right? The day before, actually, it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday, the day before yesterday, where she actually said Donald Trump or the conservatives, I can't remember which one, Republicans, are the enemy of the people, is what she said. Have you ever heard such a thing? What a moron. And so statements like that, things that are happening in the world, are one thing. The other thing that you really need to understand is that we're going to run into some trouble because, and I'll do them one at a time. You got George Floyd, right? They've charged, and again, I actually may have been part of this, where I said, wow, that's really bad. I think they killed him, and they're going to have to charge this police officer with murder. I mean, at least with manslaughter, right? We have manslaughter here. They use something called murder 2 or murder 3 or whatever. I think they have murder 1, 2, and 3, right? So I think murder 2 is like our manslaughter, which is that's what I agreed to. Murder means the cop would have to go there I'm looking for George Floyd, and when I see him, I'm going to kill him, right? You have an intention, right? The intent is to go out there and actually kill somebody. Malice aforethought, right? You have malice aforethought that you're going to go to George Floyd, wherever he is, and you're going to kill him. That that would be very difficult to prove in the sense that the officer was called to the scene because George Floyd, a felon who had robbed people in his past and actually put a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, right? That kind of bad guy was also committing forgery, and the cops are being called there to arrest him for committing a felony, right? And so the cops are being called. So it's hard to say that the cop who killed him or had a part in his death, I don't know, maybe not even a part in his death, was there because he was called, not because he went there to kill him. You see what I'm saying? So that's really hard to charge him with actual murder or murder 1, as they have in Minneapolis. So being charged with manslaughter. Now you have to show that it was because of what he did, it caused his death. Now, a video came out, if you don't know this, and those of you that have been watching me lately, I brought this up a couple times, is there's a video now that's over the shoulder as they're trying to get him in the patrol car or sitting in his car. I can't remember exactly what it is, but his mouth is open and you can see a dime bag, is what I would call it, a dime bag of fentanyl in his mouth. And he swallowed it. And when you swallow a baggie of fentanyl, which isn't meant to hit acid in your stomach and all the other things that go on in your stomach to try to move things around, and that bag tears or it's not sealed properly, that's going to kill you. Now, if the defense is successful, which the defense is the police officer, right? If the defense is successful in saying it wasn't the cop that killed him, it was the fentanyl, we're going to have problems on the streets. Because they are either going to have to just charge him with assault under color of authority, which isn't going to give him the same time as manslaughter or murder, obviously. Assault on color of authority could mean as something as little as something like 10, maybe 7 years, and out with 2 years, 3 years. Do you see what I'm saying? This is going to be very problematic. If the one thing that really caused or really started all this thing is going to be dropped down to something just short of a misdemeanor, watch out. We are in big, big trouble just on that one. All right, let's say that we're lucky enough, and I'm only saying this, and I'm sorry, officer, who you should have been kneeling on his neck for as long as you were. And again, but I could also talk about why that possibly happened. But if I do that, that's going to sound like I'm siding with law enforcement there. But there is a little discussion we can have about how sometimes that may I know it sounds bad. It even sounds bad coming out of my mouth. How you can kind of be on top of something because you've tried so hard to get somebody. I've had difficulty getting people inside patrol cars. They fight you. They put their, they can't put their hands up, but they put their legs up and they put their shoulders out and they won't sit down and they stay, rigid. And you're trying to get them to sit down and they won't sit down and you go, no. And so what you do is you call an ambulance, which we've done and which I think they did in his case. And you strap them down to a gurney, right? If they're not going to bend and sit down and they want to sit like this, I go, okay, well, let's put you on a gurney. And then you strap them down. Then that's a lot easier. And then once they're strapped down to a gurney, then you take them wherever you need to take them, right? Put them in the back of the ambulance and go. Now, while you're waiting for that, if he's constantly fighting, then you may need to restrain him. But I think restraining him with his knee on his neck is, that would be assault under color of authority. All right. I hope I massaged that well enough, but I'm just telling you these things aren't always black and white. That's why an idiot like Biden can't get on and read a statement written by somebody else that says that this was excessive force. So that was that one. So then you had the case in Atlanta. Have you heard about the case in Atlanta very much? The shooting of the suspect who shot the taser, the darts at the officer after the wrestling and fighting and he was running away and he turned and shot at the officer's face. And then the officer returned fire and killed him. Have you heard much about that? No, you haven't. I'm telling you that there's probably something going on there that hopefully, rightfully, they're just trying to keep it quiet. Because again, he was protecting himself. And I know that people want to say, oh, he was sleeping in his car. If he just could have let him sleep in his car, that would have been all fine. But no, that's not what we're there to arrest him. We're law enforcement. We need to arrest him. Well, are you making fun of my face, my voice? Well, you should have. That's how they sound. Oh, he could have just slept in his car. No. Okay, so that one I'm a little bit worried about. If it comes out that they're going to find that the officers aren't worthy of being charged for something, and I don't think they should be, or he shouldn't be charged with anything. If he's not, and he's released, and hopefully maybe right now they're quietly getting him out of the country because it's going to be bad. All right, so that one's bad. Now you have this incident in Wisconsin, and I see, people are still on. Actually, the numbers went up. And now you have the third one. The third one is Wisconsin. Again, another that is not an excessive force. I went through it all the other day. If you haven't seen it yet, if you go down, it's justified or not justified. That is the question. That I don't know if I think it's a justified or not justified is the name of the video that I did. I actually did a demonstration at my truck showing you how and why this is a justified shooting and went through all the reasons why. Because they did everything right. They did everything right, right? They were called there because he was threatening to steal and take his girlfriend's ex-wife's ex-fiance, whatever it was. She called or somebody called and says, hey, he's trying to take the car. Please help. The officers come there to help. And now he's fighting with the officers, right? So they tried verbal, obviously. You try verbal, like put your hands up, stop fighting, stand still, whatever. None of that worked. They go hands on. They're wrestling with him, right? He's got one of the cops in a chokehold. He does. Is what I've heard. All right. I don't have proof on that, but I have the word on the streets is that he put the officer in the chokehold, and that's when they tased him. He fought off the taser, right? So you have verbal, hands-on, he's fighting back, less lethal, which is prior to using lethal, right? He now fights out of that. They go lethal with their handguns, say stop or else we're going to kill you. He runs to the car and they say stop or we're going to kill you. Stop or we're going to kill you. And yet he still goes in his car, puts his hand into the floorboard, and he gets killed. They did everything. Oops, sorry about that. Nicole, I left that up for a very, very long time. It was appropriate for what I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with this shoot. And I know I'm sitting way over here in California. That's all the way in Wisconsin. You're saying, Andy, how do you know this? Because I've looked at so many of these cases, hundreds of these cases. Hundreds. This is nothing. I have way more complicated cases that I get that I'm involved in. This is nothing. Like I look, I go, well, I don't know. I think it looks pretty good to me. And that's what I would say. I would say, listen, you gotta you exonerate the officer and put him back to work. You give him his job back if you fired him because there's nothing to fire him for. The great thing I like about the police department, they've said very little, and I think even the association is kind of said, hey, listen, the guy had a knife and he was going for a knife. I mean, and then they laid out the whole thing. Okay, so now getting to my point. The problem is when they finally have to. I don't see how. If they have some rogue DA like they do in Atlanta, what a moron that DA is. Idiot, right? It just he just brought it up to a place that if they exonerate him, that's where the explosion is going to occur. In this case, you see how it's supposed to be done, right? The police department, at least as far as I know, I've not really been really on it with everything coming out of Wisconsin, but I've not heard the police department say, you know what, we think he did something wrong. No, right? They're like the president. I'm not saying anything until I know more, which is good. You got the association, which seems to be supporting the officer and saying, listen, he was called there. He was fighting. Officers tried everything they could to get him to stop, and he didn't stop. And then they thought their lives were in danger, so they shot him, right? And so you have all that, which is good. And you don't have a crazy DA making a lot of crazy statements, and then you have a bunch of other stuff happening. But regardless of that, if they come out and say justified shooting, it's going to be crazy. All right, so we have 3 of these things. We may have more. I think there's some other stuff. If the 17-year-old isn't charged, if they find that he was using self-defense in the killing, thank God I don't think any of those people that he killed are black. Thank God they're white, so it's not as big of a deal. Right? It isn't, because they're all white, and it's sad, but they too are stupid, right? What are you dumb? How, Ray? A guy's carrying an AK-47, which is a high-powered killing machine, right? A gun. Let's just say a rifle. Would you chase after him with a skateboard and try to hit him with it? No. Yes or no? I got a 12-year-old. No. Well, a 12-year-old girl here in California. Kelly, a guy's carrying a weapon. Say he's carrying like just a little tiny. Come over here. I'll get you. He's got to go comb his hair. Don't go. If you're gonna leave, don't go. Don't. Hey, Bo, let me ask you, 6-year-old. Come here, buddy. Why don't you ever have a shirt on? Come here. Hey, if a guy has a gun, mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Would you go chase after him with your skateboard? No, a 6-year-old. Right? Who's gonna go? What idiot goes after a guy with an AK-47? I forget what kind of gun it is. It might have been an M16, AK-40. I don't know what it was. Come over here. I already asked Bo the question. I mean, if you're going to say the opposite, would you go after a guy with a gun with a skateboard?
With a skateboard?
If you had a skateboard, that's your weapon. His weapon is a rifle. Would you go chasing after him and try to hit him with it?
No.
No. He did. The idiot hit him with a skateboard, and then the guy's on the ground, and he's like this with a skateboard, like he's going to bomb. And what are you going to do? You're going to shoot him. Sorry, guys. People are probably going, you can't talk about this stuff in front of your kids. I do all the time. Just get over it. Calm yourselves down. They need to know what's happening in this world. They need to be aware. We talk about it. They know what's going on. We do it in a way that I teach them how to do things properly. You just all need to calm down. Nobody calls CPS on me. This is what's happening, and they need to be aware. They know that we're not getting any vaccines. We're not going to get a COVID-19 vaccine. I'm here to protect them, and protecting them from stupid things like vaccines is part of my job. I know, horrible. I'm a horrible person. All right, my friends. CPS is going to be knocking at my door tomorrow. And so there you have it. Hopefully this has reached some of you. Just begin thinking about it and really understand where we're at in this country. Some of you are in Chicago, I'm sorry. If some of you in New York or Minneapolis, Atlanta, Seattle, Portland, I'm praying for you. If there's anything I could do for you guys, let me know. And I'm sorry, I'm just looking down at the comments and seeing what people have. I just told you that. We were already at war, and they call it protesting. Yeah, I have no choice but to tell my kids, right? At some point, because I'm a single dad, and if I go down as I'm at the store or something happens, they need to know what to do. So don't get on my case that I'm bringing up stuff to them. They are certainly aware. We go to church and pray. We pray for the people that are doing all this stuff as a family. And I don't know what else to tell you. If you are not preparing your family for certain things that may be happening in our world, then that is your problem. It is not my problem. And physically stock your cupboards. Yeah, get water. I don't know anything about the toilet paper towels. I'll be at Costco tomorrow. All right, my friends. I hope I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not. I'm just trying to prepare you. There's two different things. Preparedness is one thing. Trying to frighten you would be like saying you need to wear a mask. That'd be frightening you. You can't go. You go into the store, it's going to kill you. You go to the gym, it's going to kill you. That's scaring you. What I'm trying to do is prepare you because you can see it. Just turn it on. Turn on Fox. If you turn on CNN, they say it's mostly peaceful protesting. Nothing's happening out there. It's okay, right? It's okay. It's not that big of a deal, right, Ray? You're the only one who didn't. Oh, Rhett didn't come on camera. I got a lot of kids. You've only seen half of my kids so far. Not even half of my kids. But preparedness. Prepare. Teach your kids. Prepare them for what they need, what their thing is. If it's to go and hide, they need to be prepared to go and hide. But I'm not doing it in a way that's scaring them. I'm just preparing them. They know to be tough and they know to be smart. My 6-year-old just took a header on his face and got up and brushed himself off. It was awesome. He got a little tear, right? He fought off the tear and he got back on the bike and then he did it again. And then he crashed again and then he cried a little bit, but then he got back up again. That's my Bo. All right, my friends. I love you guys. Praying for y'all. Pray for me. I need all the prayers I can get. Bye. And prepare yourself for, again, that's a lot. I laid out a lot of stuff, right? It's whether we win or lose, we need to be prepared. If any of these guys, these cops are not charged with what people think they should be charged with, it's going to be problematic. So just so you know, and this is coming to your town. I'm telling you, it's coming to your street. It's coming to your city. Do you think this stupid town, and I'm so if anybody's from that stupid town in Wisconsin, that's stupid because I can't pronounce the name. Did you think that they thought any of this would come to this Kamalama, Wisconsin? Do you think they thought this stuff would come to their town? I don't know what their town's like. It may be a crap hole, but I doubt it. Nobody's ever heard of it before. I don't think they thought all this was going to be coming down, the looting and the fires and the taking over, trying to take over the police station. They didn't think that was going to happen in their town either. I'm telling you, be prepared. This is going to come to your city. All right, my friends. I love you. Take care. Bye.